It is still iBrand Daybreak. I promised you so much packed up, and this morning we're going to be looking at the political landscape in Oyo State, with a landscape that covers approximately an area of 28,454 square kilometers and ranked 14th by size, having its capital as Ibadan, the third most populous city in Nigeria, also boasting of 33 local governments. Oyo State, fondly called the pace-setter state, is a cynosure of all eyes when it comes to the political landscape, urbanization, infrastructural development in the south western part of Nigeria. Let's take a closer look at the state of governance and the politics, with critical analysis on issues that bother on security, economic growth, devolution of powers, job creation, among so many other things. And to join us to have that conversation is Dayo Ogunbowale. He's a special assistant on communications to the governor of Oyo State. Good morning, sir. You're welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Uche and Debbie.
You heard us having that conversation about Amala. Please.
You're welcome.
Please help us solve this matter, because we don't understand.
Okay, before we solve the matter, let's quickly delve into the business of today.
Let's go.
Yeah, politics and governance in Oyo State. What were the achievements of Governor Seyi Makinde as governor in his first tenure? That is the Omitutu. I hope I got that right. And, can you give us a background of what it was like in the first tenure? And did he meet up to, everything that, was lined up for the first tenure?
All right, thank you so much. Once again, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Of course, to everyone watching, whether in Lagos or anywhere across the world, welcome to Ibadan. Okay, so Omitutu 1.0 was predicated on 4 pillars: education, health, security, and economy. The economy aspect was majorly focused on agribusiness, and if time permits, I'm going to delve into that. Did Governor Seyi Makinde deliver? I think 562,000 votes.
Wow.
562,000 voices said yes, because they gave him his votes. They decided to go out during the elections on March the 18th and decided that we're going for Seyi Makinde one more time. And so if over 500,000 people says yes, who am I? Okay, so if we're asking the question of whether he delivered or not, over 500,000 people already told us he did.
Yeah, we would like to get the
basics,
yes,
really. So that's why I'm here, okay, and that's what I'm paid to do, really. So let's speak security. In the last 10 years, Nigeria has been bedeviled with internal crisis. If it's not Boko Haram, it's banditry, kidnapping, inter-ethnic clashes. Right here in Oyo State, I think just before we came on here, you mentioned the gong and all that. So a lot of things were out there. And some will even say, are the military men and the police, are they overwhelmed? Okay, so the question came up, state policing. And of course, people kept asking the constitutional issues. Oyo State led the pack to the creation of what we know as the Southwest Security Network, Amotekun, codenamed Amotekun. We led the pack. The Odua headquarters in Cocoa House, you should visit, as that at a time was actually the tallest building in the whole of West Africa. Yes, the only skyscraper standing. Had everywhere together, the whole of West Africa at a time. Okay, so and that's the headquarters of Odua. Odua is a company owned and controlled by the whole southwestern states. Oyo State led the pack in ensuring that, the right policy documents were put in place by the state houses of assemblies, even when the federal government, decided that, no, we will not allow it. I'm talking of persons in the likes of the Honorable Attorney General, to the Federation, Minister for Justice. He openly kicked against
the argument was everywhere,
But Oyo State led the pack, and of course, as we speak today, Oyo State has nearly 2,000 members, 2,000 officers registered as Amotekun officers right here in Oyo State. And guess what, Uche and Debbie? That's larger than all the Amotekun officers in all the southwestern states added together.
Oh, wow.
You can take that to the bank. So security-wise, bringing in our own, in a way, state police, and ensuring that they are well equipped. Governor Seyi Makinde ensured that within 1 year that Amotekun came in, 100 patrol vehicles were delivered to them. And it didn't stop with Amotekun. Before people will say, oh, so he was only equipping Amotekun. The Nigerian police force in Oyo State, within the last 4 years, has received over 200 patrol vehicles. Over 200 patrol vehicles. You can quote me anywhere. No governor in the history of Oyo State has given them that much. And I mentioned patrol vehicles, pickup vans, not to talk of the regular cars that he gave to them. So if we're talking about, I mean, cooperating with security agencies, this is one government that every commander, security commander in Oyo State loves to work with.
Now that we are here, what should the people of Oyo State expect from Omitutu 2.0? Because it's upon us.
All right, so I just mentioned there are 4 cardinal points in the Omitutu 1.0: security, economy, education. What we should expect is, because Omitutu 1.0 was codenamed, you know, a pathway to accelerated development for your state. Omitutu 2.0 is codenamed or themed pathway to sustainable development, which means whatever we have achieved is just a child's play. We're going to be building on it and sustaining the tempo. So security-wise, I can assure you that, I mean, it's going to get better and better. Education-wise, in the last 4 years, we have a governor who has come in to build at least 56 model schools. Now, that scale would not be understood appropriately unless I compare with the previous government that spent 8 years and built 3 model schools. 3. 8 years. So a governor came in and in 4 years built and commissioned 56 model schools. And for you to understand the expanse of land called Oyo State, is larger than Rwanda, larger than Lesotho, larger than Belgium. I mean Oyo State, not Nigeria. Okay, so if a governor decided to do that in 4 years, I mean, you can expect more in the coming 4 years, which is the Omitutu 2.0. And that's on education. For the first time in a long time, nearly 15 years, Oyo State employed over 5,000 new teachers into the system. In the last 10 years, no single government has employed up to 2,000. Not one. So he decided to bring in a crop of new people. I mean, let's beef up our educational, not just build structures. Can we have quality teachers? So over 5,000 teachers were brought into the fold. That is one side. And do you know that in your state, you do not pay a dime to send your child to any of the primary or secondary schools, government owned? You're not paying a dime. Not only that, government provides the notebooks, provide the textbooks for these kids. So you can afford to, I'm not saying you should have plenty of children, but I'm saying that, I mean, any number of child you have, any number that you have, government takes care of them for free.
Wow.
Yes. So that is still on education. Let's talk about our economy. I was on the radio earlier today and we're discussing basically agribusiness in Oyo State. As we speak right now, Oyo State in the last 1 year is the most agrarian state in Nigeria. Over 40,000 hectares of new land has been cultivated in Oyo State in the last 4 years. No state in Nigeria has achieved that. Not one. And how did we achieve that? Oyo State was able, via OISADA. OISADA is called Oyo State Agribusiness Development Agency. Oyo State, via that agency, was able to create enabling environment for investors in the agribusiness sector across the value chain to bring in money. Come and invest in Oyo State. We have what we used to call farm. They used to call them, farmsteads and all that. But now we have farm estates. You'll be surprised to know that most of these farms were developed during the Awolowo era, 60s, 70s, early 80s, and a good number of them have gone moribund in the last 20 years. Governor Seyi Makinde came in and said, see, we won't do agric the old way, but we will ensure that we create enough enabling environments for any farmer from anywhere in the world who wants to come spend money. As we speak now, I mean, key guys in the agric sector, Friesland campaigners of this world, sorry, I'm branding. Big names in the agribusiness sector are already on our farm estates as we speak right now. Over 80% of our farm estates are subscribed as I speak right now. The Fashola farm estate is one that major focus is on. We have about 3 farm estates, by the way, but the major one that is majorly focused on is called Fashola farm estate. It's along Oyo Iseyin Road. Do you know that road was constructed about 40 years ago? Governor Seyi Makinde came in and said, if this farm estate will work, we need to reconstruct this road, nearly 40 kilometers. With a major break, the Ogun River, there's a popular river called Ogun River, crosses that stretch of road. A major bridge has bin constructed and completed as we speak. Not a culvert, not a major bridge. By the way, as we speak, currently in Oyo State, over 10 major bridges are under construction or some are completed. I live close to one. It's called the Akobo Bridge. Anybody, I mean, last 3 months is one major bridge that people be showing across, in Oyo State, overhead bridge, crosses an express road and solid bridge. 10 of that is ongoing as we speak. As we speak in Oyo State, what should people expect? Mobitutu 1.0 brought over 500 kilometers road construction. Unprecedented anywhere in this country. Over 500 kilometers road has been constructed, some ongoing as we speak, part of which is the 110 kilometer circular road. Now, Rashidi Ladoja Road was named after a former governor of Oyo State. 110 kilometers. That road will save you the stress of coming to Ibadan. I don't know how easy it was entering Ibadan when you were coming, but by the time that road is completed, you would not need to go through the city to get to where you're going, especially if you're going outside the city, maybe just passing through. The circular road will quickly get you off the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, and from that particular road, you can connect the Ibadan-Ife Expressway. From that road, yes, you can connect back. Okay. So I mean, these are constructions ongoing, some completed. Should people expect better from Seyi Makinde? Awesome. We have a governor who listens and he interacts regularly. I mean, the man on the street, the lady selling something on the street can almost talk to you that Seyi Makinde is my person. You know why? He interacts with people. He listens. He always listens. And when you tell him, hey, Oga Governor, in this particular area, we're not okay with this, actions get taken. Okay, so the Oyo State people can always look forward, and in the next 4 years, Mitutu 2.0, you have a more listening governor, a more active governor, of course, more projects, more things to put smiles on the faces of people. Today is what, 21? 2020 what? It's not yet 25th anyway, but whichever way, there's one day in Oyo State, and that's Governor Seyi Makinde's birthday. He was born on Christmas Day anyway.
Okay.
Celebrates his birthday on Christmas Day, 25th. Okay. Every 25th of every month or before. Okay. Every single civil servant in Oyo State, both pensioners and those in active service, receive their salaries.
Oh wow. Wow.
Yes. Should I surprise you? The last Salah, I mean, people got their salaries way before, just so that they can celebrate. And he does that regularly. He has not missed paying the 13th month since he became governor.
Okay, we can keep going on and on and on and bragging about Seyi Makinde.
I mean, if there are things to be bragged about, of course, please feel free.
Why
but
not?
then let's get ahead in the conversation. Okay. Oyo State has been very notorious, if I'm to use that word, with godfatherism. And Seyi Makinde, Governor Seyi Makinde came in. I would say he put a curb to it to a very large extent. It is very visible for everybody to see. But now that we are at that point, do we see Governor Seyi Makinde becoming a godfather?
A number of people have asked that question, and if it's the same person I work with, the same Seyi Makinde, I can confidently tell you that that is not in the offing. Why? I work with him personally. I'm also not just an essay, I'm his official compare. Which means that every major event where you see the governor, you get to see me and manage his events. I compare his events. So we work closely. I can confidently tell you that this is a man who does not believe, in quote now, in most political paradigms. I'm sure you know already he's from the private sector. Someone who built his business from scratch as a young man, as a bachelor, built his business to $1 billion naira, standard business. So you hardly see him identify with political tenets such as godfatherism. And he will always say anywhere you find him that, see, the people of Oyo State are my own godfathers. I answer to the people of Oyo State. And of course, they responded in the last election. So will Seyi Makinde himself become a godfather? I would say no. You know why? I work with him. He's not a godfather to me. I can confidently tell you that. And anyone who works with him can confidently tell you that God does not lord it over anybody. That you work under me and then you must do this. Because that's what godfathers do, really. Sure. I mean, and then they will tell you, oh no, this must be the person. He's never that kind of person. Governor Seyi Makinde is the kind of person that if you come with, after probably he has taken a decision, and you come to meet me and say, sir, I think we could have done it this way. And you show him a better option. I mean, he got the code name, logic, they say, logic and data. He's that kind of person. You come to him like, sir, this is this. From this experiment, we discovered that we did this research. He will sign up to you straight up. He's that kind of person. So no godfather from anywhere. I'm sure you knew, probably, some of the dramas that, took place in the last election where someone came out and said, no, because I'm this and that. I mean, nothing happened. The elections came, Shey Makinde won. Okay, so I can confidently tell you from personal experience working with him, he's no godfather to nobody. No. No, and he won't become one.
Okay, when we start off this conversation, you touched the issues of insecurity, and you mentioned the Amotekun.
Yes.
And we all know the Amotekun was established to curb insecurity, killer herdsmen issues in your state. Now, how far have the Amotekun come into play in your state?
When Amotekun started in Oyo State, it started with about 1,500 men. Over time, the governor approved the extra 500 we had it, and we ensured that they had patrol vehicles. I mean, you can't travel, especially, I mean, I'm sure on your way to Ibadan, you still have almost the moment you pass, enter the Ibadan, after leaving Ogun State, you will see Amotekun almost every 5 kilometers packed. And they are like that 24/7. Yeah, not just because you people were coming and they needed you to see them. They are like that. And the same way, if you're traveling between Ibadan and maybe Ogbomoso, or you will always see them there. So they are like watchdogs. I mean, and it shows they were well employed, they were well equipped to get that done. As Amotekun delivered, I'll say a big yes. There are times you look around and you wonder, would the Nigerian police force be able to handle this thing? Maybe something happens somewhere and you're like, the police will say we don't have enough men, or we don't have this. So Amotekun will show up. As a matter of fact, to surprise you to know that most Oyo State people would rather have Amotekun to quickly reach out to them when they need, than call the police. Of course, the police are there. The Amotekun knows their job to support the works of. But then, if you're looking out for a security agency that is readily available, it's Amotekun anywhere across Oyo State. Do you also know? I mentioned something earlier that Oyo State Amotekun is the largest across the whole Southwest. Do you also know that only Oyo State has Amotekun represented in every local government? 33, the old government. No other states in the whole Southwest has Amotekun in each state. You only probably see them in their capital city. And for some places, they don't even have Amotekun at all. Ditto Lagos. So some you only see in the capital city. The moment you step outside the capital city, you're on your own. But that does not happen in Oyo State. In every single local government, the whole 33, you will see, ready men. They call themselves AMO, and I like that name, AMO. So you will find them with their patrol vehicles stationed at the right places. So I think Oyo State is better off security-wise with Amotekun.
Now, the people of Ngongo, what's their state of mind?
Ngongo is awesome. During the elections, we were there. I work with the governor, so we campaigned everywhere. The whole 33 local governments, we entered everywhere. We left no stones unturned. And we're at Ngongo. These people welcome the governor. You need to see the crowd in Ngongo. You need to see the turnouts. It was awesome. It was awesome. And of course, Ibarapa we won the whole of Ibarapa. Wow. Hands down. Yes. The elections, the data is out there. Governor Shey Makinde won 31 out of 33 local governments. Should I surprise you? Even the 2 local governments that he did not win was marginally won by the opposition.
We're still talking security, and Amotekun seems to be taking the center stage of this conversation. Talking about mode of operation, standard of practice, how would you describe what it is like for Amotekun? How trained and how experienced are these people in security? Is not something anybody and everybody can do. So if you're handing the security of a whole people to somebody or to a particular body, then there should be a level of trust.
A standard of operation.
Well, I can't speak for other states, but the Amotekun in Oyo State is one of the best trained in the whole country right now. We're talking about a crop of guys headed by a popular General Togun. If you read the history of Nigeria, and that name, from, in fact, the day I met him, I'm like, sir, well, always a soldier anyway. You would expect him to have looked like an old man, of course, soldier, sadly. So General Togun chairs Amotekun in Oyo State, and their commandant right now, is also a retired colonel. So you can imagine the military discipline that these guys are having. Top-notch discipline, top-notch training and retraining. So if you ask me, yes, when they started, there was that, back and forth with Nigerian police force, this show force that no, you can't do our job. That happened. Okay, that happened. I mean, quite a number of times. Oh no, these guys can't handle this. Oh, accidental discharge. And you know the particular force that is common to. You know, but that happened. Quite a number. But then I can confidently tell you that the average Oyo State resident would feel more comfortable seeing an Amotekun officer near them than probably any other officer. I can assure you. That's the word on the street right now. So in terms of training, I just told you, I mean, you can't be trained by a general, military general, and your commandant is a retired military colonel, Colonel Olayinka Olayanju, that's a commandant. Solid, uptight man, disciplined, you know. So, I mean, the training is awesome. And of course, I understand that they also have retraining regularly for the officers.
All right. Now, let's move on to youth involvement.
Okay.
Obviously, we saw that youth involvement in his first tenure was very impressive.
Yeah.
It carried the youth along. Now, do we expect a replica of that in the second tenure?
Yeah, I know you can look at me. I'm actually young. So. I mean, at the time, Oyo State was the state to beat in terms of having young people in government, and I think it still is. You know why? Right. For the first time in a long time, we have a commissioner for youth that is actually a youth. I'm not trying to attack any state, but you can check the ages of the commissioners for youth.
But if you are talking,
it's not an attack. It's not an attack. It's really not an attack, but it's just, I mean, obvious out there. So you can begin to check now. You mentioned the state, I mentioned the probably age, you know, probable age of the honorable commissioners for youth. For the first time, we had a 27-year-old.
Oh, wow.
Yes. The current commissioner for youth and sport, Rishion Fakorede, was sworn in as a 27-year-old. I mean, that's a youth. Let's face it. Okay, so you will understand. And it was not surprising when certain projects started happening, like the rehabilitation of our stadium, one of the best currently in the whole country. I mean, the Nigerians, not Super Eagles now, the younger team, came to play, you know, not friendly match, major match, international match here in Ibadan. And they kept saying that, we prefer Ibadan to everywhere else. You know why?
Yeah.
World-class stadium. Those guys enjoyed themselves.
I wish we can keep going further. Well, we're pressed for time, but quickly, let me ask you this question just before we go. So, the Omitutu 2.0 is about to start anytime soon. Who and who should we be expecting to see in the cabinet of Governor Seyi Makinde? Well,
I don't own a crystal ball.
Okay, you can give us age range.
No. Clearly, you can take it to the bank that Governor Seyi Makinde is going to work with young people. That's the truth. In fact, a lot of people, I know there was the Obidati, there is the Obidati movement, but if you can ask an average obedient across Nigeria, that if you were to pick anybody aside from Peter Obi, they will tell you Seyi Makinde. I'm telling you, it's obvious. They will tell you, no. And some have even started saying that, by 2027, if Seyi Makinde decides to run, we are voting him. So I can tell you, no, I'm talking of the people now. So it's good to have the people as your godfather.
We need to ask that question.
So
probably put it on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, it's out there. It's so Governor Seyi Makinde will definitely be working with young people. Can take that to the bank. And it would definitely be working with competent hands. You can look forward to that. Yeah. Very, very competent hands. I mean, he picked someone like me from, we are colleagues.
It's okay. It's okay. You can sell the market.
So I mean, really, you can take it to the bank that Governor Seyi Makinde will look out for the very best hands. He will be working with the very best hands. He will be working with young people. And he will be working with women.
Yeah, I was going to go into women in politics.
Oyo State is the only state where you have the secretary to state government, the head of service, being females. There's no other states. These are key positions that you do not joke. No politician anywhere wake up and say, put a woman, SSD. Woman, head of service.
Why? But what? Anyway,
Seyi Makinde is doing it, and I can assure you, he will do more.
The gender war conversation
starts
now.
It's not going to start here.
And this segment. So let's hold it off till probably next time we're going to have you on the show. Thank you so much for coming on iBrand Daybreak show this morning. We had so much fun having this conversation with you.
Yes, I did.
Thank you, Uche and Debbie. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
All right, it is still iBrandTV Daybreak. When we come back from this quick break, we're going to be having a pretty lady in the studio with us, have conversations about entrepreneurship and, you know, SMEs in Oyo State and Ibadan in particular. Do not go anywhere. Stay with us.